Analysis, and today we'll be looking at RedCat Holdings. So, as far as I know, this is a company that does drones. They do drone software for commercial and I believe military use as well. About a $500 million company, so not the smallest we have seen. So there is a little bit of added risk just with being a smaller company, but it's not crazy amounts. So definitely an interesting one to get into. It is a field I know almost nothing about. This will be a first look at the company. So we'll be going over all the financials basically. And yeah, if you're interested, make sure to subscribe and let's get into it. So, services and solutions to the drone industry. Blockchain technology for me is almost always a red flag just because I try to stay away from that as much as I possibly can. But there are a lot of different sides to blockchain technology. So, I don't really know too much about it. Either way, $580 million market cap. They IPO'd just a couple of years ago, actually. Target price at $13.50 right now. We are at $6.30. So one thing with this is that they just got slammed on their earnings report, I believe, if we take a look here. So actually, not just. Basically, they've just been getting slammed as far as I can tell. I thought they had a recent earnings report, but it looks like they had a classic head and shoulders formation here, and now they are free falling. I'd imagine they probably won't see much resistance here until they're closer to $4 to $5 a share. Maybe if there was value added from the end of 2024, then maybe they can recover from this. But excuse me. It looks like they're free falling here, basically. It does not look great for the stock. It's most likely going to take a decent amount more damage before we see any kind of growth here, just based on the way the chart is formed up. But anyway, moving on. Growth summary looks aggressively positive, other than book value per share, which again, these numbers I would say are not always the most reliable, but usually things like free cash flow and sales are generally pretty reliable. So these sales estimates are some of the highest I have ever seen. And I know I say that a lot for a lot of companies, but usually when I say that, it's like 30 to 40% per year and it's pretty solid. This is estimating 179% CAGR for sales, which means per year for the next 5 years. If that happens, that is amazing. If we look really quick right here, their sales are at 17 million and projected to be at 114 million in April 2026. So that's crazy. That's insane. That's insane. That's all I have to say for that. That's crazy. If they can achieve that, wow. Hopefully they can. That would be awesome. But honestly, I would say this is a very, very high potential company. It looks like. If we look at their sales growth, you could see they stuttered a little bit in 2023, but have since basically quadrupled their sales in the past year. They are still at a fairly decent net loss, but it looks like the gap is being closed fairly quickly. They had less of a loss from the year before, and they almost made more in sales than they lost. So that's pretty good. Other than that, I would just say across the board, it looks like there is a ton of improvement happening, which hopefully we see in the ratios as it'll be a little bit less negative over the past year, which is cool. Basic shares are very much increasing, though. It looks like that is probably their main way of cash flowing themselves, which usually is fine. But it does look like they've basically tripled them in the past 4 years or so. So that is something to also consider. But now it looks like they're starting to gain some traction. And based on the way they're projecting their sales growth, I would say this is very, very attractive. One of the more attractive companies I've seen, actually, for RedCat Holdings. But total assets have actually declined slightly over the past year, which sometimes is good, sometimes is bad. I would say in this case, because their sales quite literally quadrupled over that year, this is amazing. That's perfectly fine. Intangibles fell off a lot, which is a little surprising. That's actually where almost all of the drop came from. They also have a fairly low amount of cash. I'm assuming this is 6 million. So they have 6 million in cash, just about a little over 2 million in debt, which is perfectly fine. But at the same time, I feel like they should have more cash for being a $500 million company. But either way, operationally, they seem perfectly fine. I'm very excited to get into these earnings in a moment, which I'm going to kind of rush through here because I really want to see if they have guidance coming along, and that's where those estimates are coming from. So, operating cash flows are very negative. However, again, their sales have been exploding. So, either way, this is perfectly fine. And this is a last 12 months estimate. So, we are going to move past that. So, looks pretty solid. They had an improvement from last year. Funds from operations are a little bit down from where they were in 2023, but either way, I think that's perfectly fine. Net income improved slightly, still negative. Um, Other than that, looks like they've been selling off investments, which we did again see from their assets declining over the past 2 years. Which, again, in my opinion, I think that's perfectly fine. The way their sales are going, they look great. So a lot of debt reduction also in the past 3 years. That is something. Although they have very little debt to begin with, so either way, it's fine. And then free cash flow aggressively negative, but based on the projections. That's really what I'm working off of here to be optimistic about the company. Based on the projections, it just looks so good. Ratios, we will see in a second here. Once it loads. So ratios gross margin was positive for 2024, which is cool. SGA to sales has come down a lot from what we have seen in the past, so that is pretty solid. Operating margin is under negative 100%, so that's good. Either way, this is really rough, actually. These numbers are terrible. Looking at the debt to equity, they have essentially nothing. So one thing I will say is that they have a lot of room to continue cash flowing themselves. We did see that FactSet price target of 15 something dollars a share, which is one of the biggest price target, or sorry, 13. But even still, that is one of the biggest price target upsides we have seen recently. I don't remember what company I just reviewed, but they had one that was like 30 or 40% upside. This one is over 100%. So pretty solid there. Let's go into the earnings now and see what we can find. So hoping for guidance. I would love to see guidance. FFA or FAA authorization is pretty cool. This is their most recent news that they've had, which I don't know why this is in the earnings section, but that's pretty cool. Let's actually read through this. I don't know why I would want to read through this now that I'm thinking about it. It says everything we need to know. Authorization to fly drones without remote ID for research. That's cool. Financial results for fiscal second quarter 2025. Here we go. And corporate update, which we always like to see. So selection as winner of short range reconnaissance program of record. So that's good. Partnership with Palantir. Here we go. That is wonderful. Love to see that. Leadership team updates, including some leadership changes. $1 million contract for Edge 130 Blue drones with United States Army. Introduced unmanned surveillance and reconnaissance and precision strike systems. I can't even fathom what that is. I mean, I know what it is, but like, okay. Secured tactical funding increase contract for the Air Force. So, from what I'm seeing, based on the words here, they seem to have a pretty good relationship with the military. And the US military is a massive cash cow for a lot of companies. We believe the Black Widow is one of the most capable drones ever fielded by the Department of Defense. That's awesome. Powered by Palantir software. That is insane. Based on what I'm seeing here, I'm going to give this a. I usually don't do this, but based on my own views, I'm going to give this the strong buy rating and say that this company looks like it has a ton of promise. The fact that it's under $1 billion market cap is kind of crazy. Do I even need to go further into the stock chart? The stock chart looks like it's going to experience pain. So, in my personal opinion, which please also do all of your own research, due diligence is incredibly important. In my personal opinion, we're going to see pain in this company short term. After that, based on the way they're projecting sales increases, which let's see actually. If we go to the last one, do we have any kind of guidance? Let's look at their last report as well, see if there's guidance. 59% year over year growth in their past quarter is crazy. Let's go to fiscal year 2024. Let's see if they have guidance. Why did they not have fiscal year 2024? That's crazy. That sucks. I really want to see guidance here. And the fact that we cannot get that is a little upsetting, but partnership with Palantir, fairly decent sized contracts with the US military. That is awesome. Let's look at geographic revenue. Is it entirely in the US? Okay, so it is. Based on the fact that they seem to have very promising results from the US military, that kind of means that they have potential to be in a global range, which is just the way I'm kind of viewing this right now. Um, if they can expand to like supplying NATO companies, things like that, the fact that they said that it's the most advanced drone that the Department of Defense has seen, that's awesome. So if this can expand globally or at least to NATO members, that basically doubles or triples their possible market. I know the US military spends the most by far, but I would say it would at least double their market with NATO members. So overall, I'm going to say this has insane potential. The fact that it is down so much from its all-time high is kind of crazy. Um, let's see. TradingView shows their last report. So this is their last report, the one that we just read through. New report coming soon. I'm going to say that we're going to see pain until we see this report. And when we see that report, it could explode, honestly. I hope it continues falling. I would love to get in on this at a cheaper price than it is right now. But overall, that is all I have for RedCat today. So thank you so much for watching. Make sure to do your own research here. I am not a professional investment or financial advisor. So take nothing here as investment advice, purely for informational and educational and entertainment purposes, hopefully. So that's all I got for today. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't, and I will see everybody in the next video.